The man with no patience, 10 actors Clint Eastwood reportedly couldn't stand, and why he squinted his way through. Decades of Hollywood, but these stars made Clint Eastwood's famous steely gaze turn ice cold behind the scenes. Clint Eastwood didn't become a Hollywood legend by playing nice. The man who made careers out of playing tough guys, vigilante cops, and weathered cowboys has never been one to mince words or tolerate what he perceives as unprofessional behavior. Over his 6-decade career spanning from spaghetti westerns to Oscar-winning dramas, Eastwood has developed a reputation as a no-nonsense filmmaker who values efficiency, preparation, and old-school professionalism above all else. But what happens when other A-listers don't live up to Eastwood's exacting standards? The results have created some of Hollywood's most legendary behind-the-scenes tensions, public feuds, and career-defining moments that continue to fascinate fans and industry insiders alike. 10. Sergio Leone, the visionary who pushed too hard. While their collaboration on the Dollars trilogy made both men legends, Eastwood's relationship with Italian director Sergio Leone was reportedly fraught with tension. Leone's perfectionist approach and endless retakes clashed with Eastwood's preference for quick, efficient filmmaking. Eastwood later described Leone as a very slow worker and criticized his tendency to shoot scenes dozens of times. The breaking point came during The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly when Leone allegedly made Eastwood wait hours in the desert sun for the perfect light. Their working relationship never recovered, and Eastwood turned down Leone's offer to star in Once Upon a Time in the West, a decision that reportedly stung the Italian maestro deeply. 9. Burt Reynolds. The prima donna showdown. The tension between Eastwood and Burt Reynolds reached its peak during the 1984 film City Heat. What should have been a buddy cop comedy between two of the era's biggest stars turned into a nightmare production. Reynolds later claimed that Eastwood was not a generous actor and accused him of being difficult to work with. Eastwood, for his part, reportedly found Reynolds' improvisational style unprofessional and his constant jokes on set disruptive. The film's failure seemed to vindicate Eastwood's concerns about Reynolds' approach to filmmaking. Industry insiders reported that the two barely spoke during the latter half of production, communicating primarily through assistants and intermediaries. 8. Gene Hackman, Clash of the Titans. Despite their successful collaboration in Unforgiven, which earned both men Oscar nominations, Eastwood and Gene Hackman reportedly had significant creative differences. Hackman, known for his method acting approach and intense preparation, clashed with Eastwood's more instinctive, less rehearsed style. Sources on the Unforgiven set reported heated discussions about character motivation and scene interpretation. Eastwood allegedly grew frustrated with Hackman's need to discuss every nuance of his character's psychology, preferring his usual approach of minimal direction and trusting actors to find their own way into roles. The professional respect was mutual, but the personal chemistry was reportedly non-existent. 7. Charlie Sheen, The Wild Card Problem. During the filming of The Rookie in 1990, Eastwood reportedly grew increasingly frustrated with Charlie Sheen's unpredictable behavior and off-screen antics. Sheen's party lifestyle and frequent lateness to set violated everything Eastwood stood for in terms of professionalism. Multiple sources reported that Eastwood considered replacing Sheen mid-production, but was contractually unable to do so. The director's famous efficiency was constantly disrupted by Sheen's need for multiple takes due to late nights and poor preparation. Eastwood was heard telling crew members that he would never work with that kid again, a promise he kept throughout his subsequent career. 6. Sean Penn, Method vs. Madness. The collaboration between Eastwood and Sean Penn on Mystic River was professionally successful but personally strained. Penn's intense method acting approach reportedly irritated Eastwood, who prefers actors who can access their emotions quickly and efficiently. Penn's need to stay in character between takes and his tendency to offer directorial suggestions during filming created tension on what should have been a smooth production. While Penn ultimately delivered an Oscar-winning performance, Eastwood later made comments suggesting that some actors make things more complicated than they need to be, which many interpreted as a dig at Penn's working methods. 5. Kevin Costner, The Control Freak Conflict. Though they never worked together extensively, Eastwood and Kevin Costner's mutual dislike became Hollywood legend during the 1990s when both were at the peak of their directorial careers. The conflict reportedly stemmed from Costner's criticism of Eastwood's Unforgiven. During awards season campaigning for his own Dances with Wolves, Eastwood allegedly took offense at Costner's suggestion that Unforgiven glorified violence, while Dances with Wolves offered a more enlightened perspective on American history. Industry insiders reported that Eastwood referred to Costner as an amateur, playing director, and questioned his credentials behind the camera. 4. Tommy Lee Jones, the stubborn standoff. During the filming of Space Cowboys, Eastwood and Tommy Lee Jones reportedly engaged in numerous creative disagreements that created a tense working environment. Jones, known for his own no-nonsense approach and strong opinions about character development, allegedly refused to follow some of Eastwood's directorial choices. The two strong-willed personalities clashed over everything from dialogue delivery to scene staging. Crew members reported that the tension was palpable during filming, with both actors maintaining professional facades, while clearly disagreeing on fundamental aspects of their characters' motivations and the film's overall tone. 3. Matt Damon, the new generation gap. The generational divide between Eastwood and Matt Damon became apparent during the filming of Invictus. Damon's collaborative approach to filmmaking, including his tendency to discuss scenes extensively and offer suggestions for character development, reportedly frustrated Eastwood's more authoritarian directorial style. Sources suggested that Eastwood found Damon's questions about motivation and backstory excessive, preferring actors who could simply execute his vision without extensive discussion. The tension reportedly extended to post-production decisions, with Damon advocating for different editing choices than Eastwood ultimately implemented. 2. James Gandolfini, the television divide. Though they worked together only briefly, Eastwood's reported dismissive attitude toward James Gandolfini's television background created friction during their limited interactions. Eastwood, a product of the traditional Hollywood studio system, allegedly made disparaging comments about actors who made their names on TV and questioned whether Gandolfini could handle the demands of feature filmmaking. This old-school prejudice reportedly offended Gandolfini, who had proven his dramatic range on The Sopranos. Industry sources suggested that Eastwood's comments reflected his broader skepticism about the changing landscape of American entertainment and the rise of television as a legitimate dramatic medium. 1. Leonardo DiCaprio, the method meeting minimalism. The philosophical differences between Eastwood and Leonardo DiCaprio came to a head during discussions for potential collaborations that never materialized. DiCaprio's intensive research methods and desire for extensive character preparation reportedly clashed with Eastwood's preference for intuitive, less intellectualized performances. Sources close to both actors suggested that Eastwood found DiCaprio's approach pretentious and over-analytical, while DiCaprio reportedly questioned Eastwood's minimal directorial style. Their mutual respect as professionals couldn't bridge the fundamental gap in their approaches to the craft, leading to several abandoned projects that might have been fascinating collaborations. The Eastwood standard understanding these conflicts requires recognizing what Eastwood values most: efficiency, professionalism, and instinctive storytelling. His legendary ability to bring films in under budget and ahead of schedule stems from his no-nonsense approach that leaves little room for ego, excessive preparation, or creative indulgence. When other actors' working methods conflict with these principles, tension becomes inevitable. Eastwood's frustrations often stem not from personal animosity but from fundamental disagreements about the craft of filmmaking itself. His minimalist approach, honed over decades of working with directors who valued economy of expression, conflicts with the more elaborate, psychologically complex methods favored by many contemporary actors. These professional disagreements have shaped not only individual careers, but the broader evolution of Hollywood's creative culture, highlighting the ongoing tension between old-school efficiency and new-generation artistic exploration. While these reported conflicts are based on industry sources and biographical accounts, it's worth noting that Eastwood himself has rarely confirmed specific feuds publicly, preferring to let his work speak for itself.